I'm Matt Bichard here in Dallas for NAREIT's REIT World 2017. Joining me today is Richard Stockton, the President and CEO of Ashford Hospitality Prime. Richard, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, earlier this month, Ashford announced its plans for its non-core hotel assets. Can you describe what those plans are and how you determine which assets fall into that non-core category?
So I joined the company about a year ago, and my first task was to develop a strategy for the portfolio and the company overall. And I concluded that we wanted to be the highest quality lodging REIT in the sector. So in order to do that, we wanted to achieve the highest RevPAR for our portfolio. So I evaluated the portfolio. I visited every property. I met with all the general managers. I looked at all the numbers and statistics around the properties themselves and concluded that there were 4 properties that didn't quite fit the strategy going forward. The strategy going forward was to focus on the luxury chain scale segment and highest possible RevPAR. There were 2 assets that were considered an upscale brand, and then there were 2 assets that were upper upscale, but their RevPAR was the lowest in the portfolio. So we identified ultimately the 2 lowest RevPAR assets as candidates for sale. So as we removed those from the portfolio, the overall average for the portfolio went up. And then the 2 upscale assets, we were able to negotiate a deal with the manager, who was Marriott, to upbrand those from upscale to upper upscale, and therefore, in the future, achieve an even higher RevPAR.
Now, earlier this year, there were some devastating storms that impacted several parts of the country. Did they impact Ashford's portfolio? And more broadly, what can you do as a CEO to prepare for sort of these unforeseen events?
You know, the third quarter was a quarter of dealing with natural disasters for us. You know, we had 12 of our 12 hotels, we had 4 impacted. 2 impacted by the hurricanes in the Caribbean, in particular Hurricane Irma, and 2 impacted by the wildfires in Northern California. In the case of the hurricane, we had significant damage in one of our hotels, which is the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas. Of the 180 rooms there, we have 80 in service, and 100 of those rooms will be renovated over the next 18 months to 2 years. So that hotel will be under refurbishment. In the case of Key West Pier House, which was also impacted by Hurricane Irma, the storm had decelerated enough by that time where the damage was minimal. So that hotel is back up and running, fully operational, and people are slowly returning to Key West. In terms of the Northern California wildfires, our hotels weren't directly impacted, but we did see a fall off in tourism demand associated with the smoke and fire and this sort of thing. How do you prepare for it? You prepare for it by being well insured, and we were, and we are. And you know, that's what will preserve our profit and loss for the coming year to 2, as we're able to collect on business interruption recoveries for those events. You know, there's also the other side of preparation, which is ensuring that you do get up and running as soon as you can. We never try to close during these events. We like our hotels to be a refuge for people in need, for the recovery personnel that come to those areas. And so we had staged in advance supplies. We had put generators in place, et cetera, particularly for the hurricanes, so that we were up and running very quickly thereafter.
And lastly, as you look over the next few years, what areas of the hotel business do you see changing the most rapidly?
I think one of the most profound impacts we're seeing is in in-room technology. You know, in particular, we've for many, many years had pay-per-view and on-demand services available to guests. These services are no longer in demand. People come now with their own devices, they come with their own streaming services, and what's important now is to have high-quality screens that they can link to very easily. And ultimately, we're hoping to get to a state of technology where as you walk into your room, and turn on your television, your monitor, it will recognize you, it'll recognize your apps, and then pull up everything on a personalized basis. And I don't think we're very far away from that, but what it does do is it keeps us as owners on our front foot in terms of capital expenditure, ensuring that we have the latest technology in the rooms, and to some degree, reducing the lifespan of those technologies as they continue to evolve, and we need to adapt. So that's one thing that we're very focused on, ensuring that we can deliver to guests.
Richard, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
For more information about NAREIT's REIT World, be sure to visit NAREIT's website, REIT.com.